Rich, this was a horrible idea to join the watch. We're on this wall freezing our balls off, man. Why'd we do this?
I don't know, man. This is miserable. But I did sneak these headphones in so we can listen to this Pod Bros exclusive.
Oh, I feel warmer already.
What's up, everybody? I am a sickly Richard.
And I'm Shawn of the North.
He's a healthy Shawn, and we are speaking the language of romance. Shawn, I'm not feeling 100%. As I'm sure you and everybody can obviously hear, I'm not 100%. A little bit of a runny nose, a little bit of whatever, but that's okay, because I had to sit down, had to get here.
Yeah.
I had to be here so we could talk about this.
Let me help you make you feel a little better. Ready? Ba 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 ba.
Yes. I feel now. Okay. Now, obviously, we don't do a lot of like television. You know, we don't review. We don't do a lot of television reviews. We don't, comb over every episode. There's podcasts that do that. There's podcasts that are dedicated to a specific show, and I feel like if somebody really wants to listen to people talk about a given show, they'll go there. And that's fine. I do not begrudge them at all. But I feel like we need to talk some Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God. So I actually came in late to the game when it comes to Game of Thrones. I didn't start getting into it. It didn't pique my interest until, was it after season 4?
Yeah. I think you were late to it. Yeah, because I heard about season 1. Everybody's always like, oh my God, everybody dies. I'm like, sure they do.
Yeah.
And then season 2 came out, and more people talked about it, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to check this thing out. Watch first season, I'm like, oh, this Ed Stark dude is going to end up on the Iron Throne.
Oops.
Uh-oh. What happened?
What happened indeed?
And then you get into season 2, which is pretty good. And then I'm like, oh, there's books. I got to read these books.
Oh my God.
And you find out so much awesomeness in those books.
Yeah.
But
it's great.
This past season and this season, I had no clue what was going on. You and I were on an even playing field.
Thank God.
And then
I don't have to hear about. I don't have to watch an episode and then hear you tell me about how the book is so much better than what I'm watching. But yet you tell me that the book is so much fucking better. But you know what? Nobody's reading the fucking book, Shawn. They're all watching the show. Everybody's watching the show. They're not reading the books. Some people are reading the books. Yes. Not everybody's reading the books. You know why? Because they're watching the show.
That's because America doesn't read, Richard. That's the problem with America.
Oh, my God. No. The problem with America is uptight a-holes like you that want to look down on me just because I don't have the time to dedicate to those goddamn fucking Bibles that he writes.
Yeah, they are massive.
How many pages are his books? They're like, what, like 700-800 pages?
I think like each one's almost 1,000 pages.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
That's like 3 books.
I'm not reading it in like the depth that I probably should be because there's a lot of shit I miss. Like somebody posted, so this is going to be spoiler filled from the season 2. So,
yes.
If you haven't seen it, then go watch it. And then if you haven't seen it, like, what are you doing listening to this episode, Mom? Started a different one.
But I like to hear Pookie Bear get excited.
Laura!
I'm glad he's such a reader.
But,
Laura, nobody reads the books. They're all watching the show. Why's he gotta be such a book nerd, Laura? God.
But, I mean, so in this season, we get the big reveal that, like, the worst kept secret in Westeros, right?
Yeah.
Jon Snow is a Targaryen.
Yes. Actually, yes and no. You're right. That was the worst kept secret in Westeros. But there was a twist to it that I feel kind of changed things a bit.
Okay, what's that?
Here's the twist, okay?
That he's fucking his aunt.
Well, I mean, you kind of hope that wouldn't happen, but then it happened, and you're like, well, and you're trying to like in your mind, you're trying to like justify it. You're like, well, I mean, he doesn't know, so that's okay, right? Please. No, here's the twist. The twist of it was, so yes, Jon Snow is a Targaryen. I totally agree. Worst kept secret on the show ever.
Yeah, everybody who watched the show knew it.
Agreed. I mean, granted, we didn't know it right off the get.
No,
I think it wasn't until probably season 4, 5.
Probably like 5. I think you really started hearing the rumblings. Last season it was pretty clear. It's like, yeah, he's a Targaryen.
Yeah. Okay. The twist I feel, or the thing that kind of tweaked it a little bit, was the fact that the marriage between Rhaegar and Ned's sister,
Lyanna,
thank you. That their marriage was like an actual marriage.
Oh yeah.
Like they actually liked each other. And that the whole Robert's Rebellion thing, the whole thing was bullshit.
Yeah. No, I always had the impression that they were married. Like it was a legit, like he was not a bastard.
See, the impression that I always got was that, oh, well, I mean, yes, that they were married, but that
it was against her will.
It was against her will and everything, and because she's being held prisoner in this tower and la da 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 da. But then you come to find out that no, they actually liked each other.
Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Like the real twist on that is like because she was pregnant and Robert's rebellion was already underway. Like if Robert found out that they were married, like he probably killed her and the kid.
Right.
Like while she was pregnant. I didn't really think about that part of the twist.
That's why Ned took Jon away.
Yeah.
Or that's why Ned claimed that Jon, because he knew that Jon would have been stabbed in the face.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because like you kind of forget the timeline because it's, Robert's Rebellion. There had to have been like 9 months to a year where, she was prisoner, but she was really married to him and pregnant. And Robert was like, no, I don't remember what your face is, Stark woman.
Well, because remember when he freaked out about the other Targaryen kids and he sent people over to kill him?
Well, yeah, he wanted to kill Daenerys.
He lost his shit when he found out there were Targaryen kids.
Well, that kind of puts that more in perspective of when him and Ned were sitting there having dinner on the way to the King's Landing.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about Daenerys, and he was kind of like, well, she's just a kid. She can't do anything. And he's like, I'll kill every fucking Targaryen on the earth.
Right. So what I feel the kind of twist to it was the fact that, number one, since they were in love, and so the whole Robert's Rebellion thing was kind of bullshit.
Well, and then like this whole like chaos that's kind of started the second war, we get that reveal in this episode or in this season.
And number two, since they were married and they had a kid, then that means that Jon is the number one legitimate heir to the Iron Throne.
Yep, going back to the Targaryen rule.
More than Daenerys. So here's the question I have. Here's the multitude of questions I have. Number one, how is Jon going to feel that he fucked his aunt?
I mean, he seemed to enjoy it. Did you see his bum? Like, he had a smooth ass bum. Like, listen, if he's a true
I'm not saying anything because I'm just going to let that hang there.
Well, no, because if he was a true Northerner, I've said this on multiple threads on Reddit. If he was a true Northerner, that thing would have been hairy as hell because it is cold in the north.
It is cold.
And if he manscapes, the only thing I can think of is the reason Tyrion was so pissed because like he had to help the king of the north do a little manscaping before he went to bang his aunt.
You think so?
Yeah, he's like, Tyrion, come here. We gotta clean up
a situation to deal with.
We gotta clean up the South Pole.
Sam's not around, so it's up to you. Okay, so that's question one. Question one is, how is he going to feel that, he had sex with his aunt? Question two, once he figures out, which he will, as soon as he gets to Winterfell, Bran's going to be like, oh, by the way, when he figures out that he is the legitimate heir, is he going to, accept it?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's never really wanted to be like a ruler.
Right.
More so than any of them. But I think it's all really going to depend on what Daenerys does. Like, is she going to flip her shit?
That's gonna be that was my third question. Is since in terms of legitimacy, since Jon apparently holds a higher place than her, does that mean that Daenerys is gonna be like, oh, it's okay, Jon, you can go ahead. I'll get the next one.
I don't know. Like, I know Targaryens have married family members. Like, that's a pretty common thing. But Starks don't, that I know of.
I don't know.
But I mean, it is Westeros, and in this, like, it's okay to marry siblings. Well, apparently it's okay now because the queen's like, hey, I'm gonna open the door to this maid and be like, hey, me and my brother just fucked these sheets up. Bring in some new ones.
Very true. Very true.
The reaction I think was priceless when she basically lets the kingdom know. It's like, yeah, me and my brother, all the rumors that you've heard, they're true.
I think that maid's reaction was our reaction. Like, oh, yeah, all right.
I remember episode 1, season 1. Like, that's where, like, you have the 2 Girls 1 Cup reaction videos. You need to find somebody that has never seen Game of Thrones, knows nothing about it, and make them watch episode 1.
Wait, isn't that his? Oh,
yeah, that was my reaction. I'm like, wait a second, isn't that? And you have to like call somebody that knows, be like, hey, so I'm watching Game of Thrones. Yeah, just watch the first episode. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I haven't read the books.
So yeah, I saw the kid fly through the window. Listen, are those two related? Like brother and sister? Are they like stepbrother and sister? Like, that's not as weird. But they're.
I mean, like I watch porn and there's and it's always like, oh, what are you doing, step bro? I'm like, okay,
yeah, I can get behind that kind of, but like
I can ignore it.
They're actual brother and sister. Oh, they're twins. Oh. Grody.
Odd tangent, but why is there so much stepbrother, stepsister porn on the internet? Because you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. Like, I get that they're actually not stepbrother and stepsister. Like, I understand that. I do. Believe me, I do. I know they're not actually related through marriage. But why is that like a scenario? And not just a scenario, why is that a popular scenario?
You gotta blame Game of Thrones. It's like, listen, I don't want to go too creepy Game of Thrones-esque, but like I can be okay with that.
I can't.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that's what the creepy people watching it are saying.
Like, I have to ignore it. And it's actually, you have to make a concerted effort to not find stepbro and stepsis.
Well, just wait. Now with this last episode and the revelation, you're probably gonna see more aunt and nephew.
Yeah. Auntie, what are you doing? That's not how you deliver a pizza.
But I mean, okay, let's go off that. So we're following Cersei and Jaime. I mean, really, we'll probably talk more about the finale. But I thought Jaime was gonna die. Dude, I was prepared for Jaime to die.
In the finale, I thought Jaime was gonna die, and I actually had the thought that Tyrion was gonna die.
I thought the Hound was gonna die. Like, I thought him and the Mount were gonna have it out right there.
Well, yeah, that one really didn't pop at me.
The only reason I thought about that is because they've been pushing like Clegarian Bull like all season. Like, people have been talking like, oh, those two are gonna fucking fight. And like, yeah, zombie mountain and burned hound. They're gonna fight.
Every time I see him, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that man's fucking enormous.
The mountain.
I'm like, yeah. Every time you look at him, you're just like, how did that happen?
Vitamins,
naturally,
and milk.
Good God! Every time you see him on screen, you're just like, Jesus Christ, that man is fucking huge.
Well, you look at his dad; he's like 5'8", and his mom's like 5'6".
Good God! I think I mentioned it on an earlier episode, the where he broke a fictional record.
Yeah,
or he broke a mythical record.
Yeah,
like he couldn't settle for world records. He's like, let me read about this story in myth and legend, this Herculean feat, and then I'll do better. And he did.
Yeah. Well, he's in like world strongman competitions, isn't he?
Yeah, because what the hell else do you do when you're that goddamn fucking powerful?
When your leg's legitimately the size of a tree trunk.
Yeah. And you like for a living, you just pick up logs and throw them and kill small animals.
Then you pick them up and eat them as your snack.
Oh
Bone
my
and
God,
all.
the man's fucking enormous.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't have that thought. I didn't have the thought that the hound was gonna die or the mountain was gonna die. But yeah, Jaime and Tyrion. Especially Tyrion. Like, I held my breath.
Oh, yeah.
That entire segment.
Well, I think, like, so I was because Tyrion was first. Tyrion walks in. He's like, listen, we've got some shit to deal with. Like, you saw what was there, right? He's like, if you're not going to help us, like, fucking kill me now. And then she doesn't do anything. He's like, whew, all right, I'm getting drunk.
Like, oh, yeah. See, like, I'm sitting there, I'm watching this with Amanda, and Amanda's like, why do you look so... You don't look well. I was like, he might die. And she's like, no, they wouldn't. And I was like, yeah, they wouldn't.
Woman, have you seen this series?
Have you watched this show? They wouldn't. And I will say that is a testament to this show.
Oh yeah,
is that this show has it shows that this show has said that any character is expendable.
Oh yeah,
and so. In a scene like that, where you meta think it and go, oh, well, he's a popular actor. He's, popular on the show. There's no way. You legitimately are watching, going, holy shit, he might die.
Yeah, this is Game of
Thrones. There is an actual tension that I don't think you find in a lot of television.
No, I mean, like early Walking Dead, I think had a little bit of that, but even now it's like, oh, that person's going to find a dumpster and hide under it.
Right.
But yeah, like that was super nerve-wracking. And so he survives, right? He walks back and so she's like,
As soon as he starts walking back, I was like, oh, thank God. He made it.
But then you get Jaime walking into the exact same scenario. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way two of these dudes are going to survive. There's no possible way.
As soon as Clegane steps out and starts to pull a sword, I was like, holy shit.
Because it was basically the exact same scene where he's like, listen, if you don't blah, 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 kill me now. Give the word. It's like, oh, God, that's what your brother said. She's not going to make the same mistake. And she nods her head, and I'm like, oh, shit. We're going to see these two fight. But then he just goes on. He's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, bitch. And starts walking away.
Which, okay. So, on the subject of Jaime... Did you ever think that you were going to like this character? From day one, you were like, I hate this guy. Like, you didn't hate him as much as Joffrey, for example, but you were like, this dude's a dick.
You probably hated him. He pushed a kid out of the fucking window in episode 1.
Episode 1 pushes a kid out of the fucking window and does it with a gleeful smile.
Yeah.
Because at that point, this, brr.
Yeah, because at that point, you don't know that he's had 3 kids with his sister. Like, you're still trying to process, like, wait a minute. That's his sister he's having sex with. And he's like, the things we do for love. And Bran's like, huh? That's your sister?
Okay, so not only that, so pushes the kid out the window. Then the whole time, for the whole rest of that season, like, he's a dick to Ned.
Yeah. Well, I think you learn about...
Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, and then you start learning about, like, he's the Kingslayer. So he's an oath breaker.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, when I started to turn on him, like, start to like him, was when he was in the hot tub with Brienne. Because he was, like, he just got his hand cut off. Like, he's, like, at his lowest. And he starts talking about the Mad King. He's like, what would you do if your honorable Ned told you to burn down the whole city? Like, would you just stand by and let it happen? And, like, you start learning, it's like, oh, he's doing these things for basically the greater good.
Well, that, I mean, like, he's a dude with a bit of a conscience.
Yeah, for sure.
And it kind of, like... He's going beyond, like loyalty to a king or whatever. He's acting with common sense.
Well, and the only crutch he's ever had is his sister and his kids. And right now, like, his sister is supposedly pregnant.
Well, I would say one of his other crutches is Tyrion.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because Cersei's always like, why are you, why do you like him? Basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he helps Tyrion, but this is the first time we've seen him leave his sister
Yeah.
to do something he probably thinks is morally the right thing to do and go with his brother.
And the other, okay, so with Jaime, you have this weird funky arc where he starts out being a complete dickhead, and then he slowly starts getting more redeemable as the show goes on. Then he loses his hand. You feel a little pity.
Well, he saves Brienne. He saves Brienne from the bear.
Like, why am I feeling pity for this guy? Like, I hated him 2 years ago. And so now you come to this season where there is a battle between him and his army and a bunch of Dothraki raiders and dragons. And I'll be fuck if I didn't watch that episode or watch that battle and actually root for both sides.
Yeah,
to
they
a
did
degree.
a great job with that. Like Bronn, you're like, fuck, don't kill Bronn. He pulls
you're
back
like,
that
don't
big
kill
arrow.
Bronn. Don't kill Daenerys. Don't kill Jaime. Who do I want to win this?
Don't kill the dragon.
You watch the Battle of the Bastards, and it's clearly like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want Jon to win. I want Ramsay Bolton to get his face eaten off. Like, that's what I want in this world. There is no person I hate more than Ramsay Bolton at this juncture in my life, and he needs to die, and Jon needs to be the one to kill him. Like, that's what I need in order to feel like a complete person in my life. But you get to this, and you don't know who to root for, and you really don't know who to root against.
Yeah. Well, even now, like, you can kind of say you want to root against Cersei, but, like, the Night King, I guess, is kind of that guy. You're like, well, we don't want that dude to win.
Bronn has that giant crossbow that he's aiming at a dragon, and you're like, don't hit the dragon. But then at the same time, you're like, dragon, don't kill Bronn.
Yeah.
Like, figure out a way that both of you can not die in this situation.
Like, all those Dothraki, you can kill all them. All those Lannister red shirts, kill all them.
Fuck the rest of them. Just, I need certain people to make it through this battle.
Bronn's the one I'm kind of surprised that's made it this far.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I figured he'd either be gone or something would happen with him.
Okay, so I would say that this season overall, the last 2 seasons overall have been my personal favorite.
I'm trying to think.
The last 2, I feel like the seasons have gotten, season 1 kind of set everything up. So I don't begrudge, some slow points in order to give out some exposition. Season 2 and 3 and even 4 to a point, it got into this formula where, especially once you got to 3, it got into this formula where you had the premiere of the season where some shit happens, and then you figure out kind of what the conflicts are gonna be going forward, and then the story kind of slows to a crawl until the second to last episode of that season. And then, like, all hell fucking breaks loose, and crazy shit happens. The Red Wedding, the battle between the Dornish Prince and the Mountain.
Yeah, the Purple Wedding.
All that stuff happened on second to last episodes. Okay? And then the finale is where they wrap up all the conflicts that were going on through the season and then start to set up for the next. And that's kind of how it went for seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then we get to season 6, which is not this last one that just transpired, but the year before. And you had shit going on like crazy. You had Bran in the tree becoming the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
You had him you had that happening. You had Hodor, which I can't mention too loud because my wife that still makes my wife sad.
Let's all open our doors one last time
and grab onto them for dear life.
My wife still gets pissed.
Yeah, mine too. So you had that happen. Then you had Daenerys like fighting the slavers.
The slavers.
Yeah, and sending her dragons out and burning down ships and all that crazy shit. Okay. And Battle of the Bastards.
Battle of the Bastards was the best scene of that whole.
Oh my
the best
God.
part of that whole last season.
Again, second to last episode, Battle of the Bastards.
Well, and that one was one like, if it was any other show, you'd be like, oh, Jon Snow's going to make it. And this one, you're like, oh, fuck, that's how he's going to die.
Yeah.
Suffocate.
Okay, so I would say that the last season didn't have a lot of low points. Like there were like the story I think was progressing at a decent pace, and there were events. There were things happening in every episode. Okay, so now let's get to this. Now let's get to this season. You had Daenerys finally getting to Westeros.
Yeah.
You had Cersei taking out Highgarden.
Yeah.
You had the
Greyjoys. You had the whole conflict with them.
Yeah, the whole conflict with the Greyjoys.
Euron's like, I'm a dick.
God damn it. Fucking
he's more of the douchey dick. Like he knows, like he's like, I'm gonna die at some point, but I'm gonna be flashy. I'm gonna throw up the bullhorns and be like, blah, 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 blah.
No, I'm thinking of fucking Theon. God damn it.
What about Theon? He's kind of had that same like Jamie kind of feel. Like at the beginning, he was a dick. He's like, I've got this big cock and balls, and I'm gonna have sex with everybody on the way back to Pike. And he's like riding a horse, like he's trying to get busy with his sister.
Yeah,
and he doesn't know it. They get back to the castle, and it's like, oh, you're my sister? Why don't you tell me? It's like, well, you didn't ask. Like, gross. I have morals. What do you think I am, a Lannister or a Targaryen? But like, you have his redeeming story starting to come through on this. Like
oh yeah, finally.
What do you expect?
Oh my god, I expect something, because here's the thing. I feel like he's fucking Theon Greyjoy is like Casey at the bat, okay? Like he's set up. He gets set up for these hero moments, where he finally gets to prove himself.
Casey struck out, right?
Exactly. That's my point.
But the big difference? Casey had his balls.
Okay, so Theon gets set up for these like hero moments, and inevitably he fails at every single goddamn juncture. The only time so far that he has succeeded in doing something not completely, fucked up or not completely, pussy is when he fucking saved Sansa.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the turning point. I mean, but you have to think, this dude was not just like tortured. He had his dick cut off, was super tortured. Again, I'm pretty sure Ramsay was eating his wiener in front of him. Like,
I'm pretty sure he was too.
Yeah, I've eaten a lot of brats in my life, Richard, and none of them have wiggled like that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
So what do you expect? And then when he's there on the boat, when Euron's like, come save your sister.
And what happens?
He's like, oh.
Mighty Theon struck out.
But that's going to allow him to redeem himself, because he wasn't going to make it. If he tried to fight Euron,
he was
going to die.
Supposed to redeem himself when him and his sister were like, we're going to fight for Daenerys. That was supposed to be his redeeming moment.
Yeah, but then his ship got all shit up by Euron. Like, they're like, yay, we're going to go sailing, gonna get my balls back in my man. Oh, shit, there's Uncle Euron.
Like that happened, and I literally out loud I was like, God damn it, Theon.
But you got to think, he has so much post-traumatic stress, though. Like, in that situation, that like what he had to go through, I mean, it's hard not to blame him. But it's
not that hard.
Really? You think so?
No, I just did it. Did you hear me when I was like, God damn it, Theon?
But if you're looking at it from a more of a story that's getting told on TV, yeah, that would have been the moment he would have cured Euron, and his sister would be like, oh, you're the greatest, even though you don't have balls. But it was more realistic. Like in that situation, somebody that's been through it, because he's barely past all that. Like he's just getting back into having some like ability to stand up for himself, and then all of a sudden, all these people around him are being tortured, and his uncle's got a knife to his sister's throat. He's like, I'm going to jump in the water. I don't know what else to do. Because he's still Reek. In that moment, he became Reek again.
Bullshit. And I'm sorry, but if you're his sister, like, how are you feeling at this point?
Because you already see it,
You showed up to save him before, and he was like, no, I'm good.
I'm Reek.
And she was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? And then she is in danger and he runs off.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see it in that moment when she jumps off. She's all got the look on her face like,
Yeah.
fuck
Are
you, Theon.
Fucking kidding me?
Because she's getting drugged through King's Landing, and she just has it look like, I don't even want to be a Greyjoy. I know no Greyjoys. I'm going to die here, and that's more honorable than my brother.
God,
Richard,
damn it.
What it takes, Richard, is for him to get kicked in the balls where there are none to find his balls. That dude tried to ram his knee into his balls like 4 times. He's like, oh, it doesn't hurt because I have no balls. Whack, 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 whack. I am Theon the Boss.
Even then, I was like, you know what? You're still not square. He's still not square with me. Fuck you, Theon. You're still not square with me.
Yeah, but he's gonna save his sister. He's probably gonna kill his uncle. They're gonna make him Queen of the Iron Islands.
Yeah, is that what happens in Sean's world? Is that
know.
What happens in the next book?
I don't know. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, you know what? We're not getting Game of Thrones season 8 till 2019, so suck it.
Why'd you do that? See,
yeah, I know.
I'm sad.
I think
I'm sad.
I don't know if they're doing that because of production reasons or if they're going to try and sneak out the next 2 books. Like, I'm wondering if he's done with the first one and almost done with the second. So they're going to try and get them out at the same time or like months apart.
Yeah, that's totally what happened. Because he's only been working on the last book for how we were supposed to get book 6, 4 years ago?
Whenever we did our first bro huddle, so like 2014, I think 2015 it was supposed to come out.
So yeah,
and that was
3 almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, but that was like 3 years before that when the other one came out. So it's been out. He hasn't been working on anything for like 6 years. Or I've been working on this one for 6 years.
So yeah, you keep hoping. You just cling on to that.
I hope Lady Stoneheart ends up on the Iron Throne.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, so let's see. Talked about the Greyjoys. Talked about
You know what sucked about this season though? Like all that Greyjoy stuff happened really, really early on, and I almost kind of forgot about it.
I kind of almost forgot about him too.
Because there's like a lot of it.
I think that was purposeful. I think I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about him anymore. Fuck him.
I do. I got a little like crush on his sister. Like she seems like the kind of chick that would like take care of you and like like hey, she can be queen. I'll make her sandwiches. She'll protect me.
Fuck yeah. I'd save her. Not like Theon.
I don't know. You're gonna probably kick my ass.
He probably would, but I'd still try. Oh shit! What the fuck? All else happened? Oh, all the Starks got back together.
All the Starks are back together. You know what kind of sucked about that part? So like,
little family reunion.
Yeah, when Bran showed up at Winterfell, I got a little teary eyed. I had to like waft my eyes. I was like, oh my god, it's Bran and Sansa. And then he's all like, I saw you the night of your wedding. You were so beautiful.
And you're like, oh, fucking no. You're creeping me out. Oh.
I'm sorry what happened to you. Oh, he saw the bad stuff that happened.
Yeah, he did.
So then when Arya shows up, I'm like, well, she's going to be a dick too.
But it's crazy. Like go back to season 1.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And then go to now. And you were like, Jesus Christ. They've all done and seen some shit.
Yeah, well, you kind of forget because, I mean, we've seen all these characters for 6 years. They legitimately haven't seen each other since season 1.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I'm not sure what the timeline of the show is. I think it kind of follows like the season flow. But I mean, they haven't seen each other for 4 or 5 years.
But I agree. I did get a little emotional when the Starks all got back together. I was like, oh, and they're all home. Like, this is sweet. And then John's gonna show up, and then it's gonna be like, oh.
What's up, cuz? What? What do you mean? Oh, maybe he could marry Sansa now because they're cousins.
Yeah, I'm letting that one hang there too.
Yeah. Well, there's been rumors that those two are going to get married.
You're the one that thought of it.
It's Game of Thrones. I mean, that's like the mildest of stuff. And plus, it's based off of like British history where they're marrying each other's cousins all the time.
Yeah, they do. You
know what happens when they do that? Web toes.
Yep. They all just look kind of like spaced out. The royals, they're just kind of, hi, how are you? Like they all just like you look at them and you're like, something's not right. Yeah, It's a bad idea when cousins marry.
Well, I think it's probably the whole monarchy idea because it's like, yeah, we're kings. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, you rule over the country? No, not really. There's a parliament for that. We just kind of live in a big house and paparazzi follows us all over the place.
We have no real authority. We're just like it's like the Kardashians in a sense.
Yeah, but not as annoying.
Agreed. Yes, agreed.
I mean, like, their family actually did something. The Kardashians were just somehow related to OJ. That's kind of how they got. Well, I guess.
And they make sex tapes.
Not Caitlyn. What's his name now? Well, it all relates. It's like Caitlyn and Theon. They both are missing pieces. Okay, so what about Sam? What's your thoughts on Sam?
What do you mean, what are my thoughts?
Well, I mean, he goes, so he wants to be...
I love, Sam's the guy I'm vying for to sit on the Iron Throne. That's what... At the end of the day,
Gilly will sit next to him.
Everybody's going to kill each other, and Sam's going to be the one left. He's going to be like, it's mine, just like I planned, because he's like secretly like a fucking genius.
Well, I feel like everybody's dead. He walks up, and he just walks over, kind of doing his goofy walk, looks around, is like, huh, wipes off the Iron Throne, sits on it. It's like, Gilly, get me a crown and a sandwich. Boo, 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 boo. Samuel Tarly is ice and fire.
Sam and Gilly won the Game of Thrones.
All they had to do was wait. But no, like, so he wants to be a maester, and he goes down and basically runs into his dad last season. He's like, hey, I'm going to, what the hell was that town called?
Old
Town. Old Town. He's like, I'm going to Old Town. I'm going to be a maester. Won't you be proud, Dad? He's like, Laura, the kid's back in the books.
He wants to read the books again.
Renounce all your things and give it to your brother Dickon. Why'd you name him Dickon?
I mean, I thought you hated me, but you named the other one Dickon.
You know it's going to be Dickon. Dick off the dicker. But he goes down trying to be a maester. Like, he saves Jorah. He does a thing that like everybody's scared to do to get rid of Grayscale.
Which, oh my god, that looked fucking painful. Even though, like, that was one of those moments where you're like, I know it's special effects and shit, but ooh. Yeah.
It's like if you got like that piece of skin that's like hanging and you rip it, but you get all that new skin that comes off too. Like, you're like, it hurts. And then it burns because that open wound. You're like, And
he's fucking like, he basically took like a paint scraper to Jorah's chest.
Jorah's like, he's like, hey, shut the fuck up. I'm not supposed to be in your room. It's after curfew.
This is just like slumber camp.
Oh, shoot. That was actually good skin. Sorry. I'm just so excited. I've never been invited to a sleepover.
Can we do each other's hair next?
But he ends up like telling the main maesters, he's like, listen, like, I've seen the White Walkers and stuff. Like, I've killed them. And they're like, you fat boy.
Yeah, fuck you. Why don't you go get me another scroll?
And go clean the shit.
Wipe my ass with it. And then you can translate it, fat fuck.
Spoilers. It's a shitty review. Oh, because there's poo on it, isn't it? No, it's actually a review of a new Amazon book. It was terrible.
It was horrible. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, his story went okay. I did like the interaction when he got back to Winterfell.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Bran. Like, I feel like that was kind of
three-eyed raven.
In that sense, I felt like he was us. Like, that was our doorway. that was the audience's way in, where he's like, oh, so what happened beyond the wall? He's like,
I'm the three-eyed raven.
He's like, oh, I don't know what that means.
It means I can see everything. Jon is on his way back to Winterfell. Oh, did you see that in a vision? He holds up a note.
He's like, no, I got mail like normal people. Fat fuck. Why don't you translate it? And throws it at him.
I saw you at the Citadel. You looked beautiful.
In your white maester robe. And then the other maesters came into the room. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
But I mean, that's kind of, I think the show used that moment to show us that, like, oh, well, Bran doesn't know everything. He has to kind of, like, he's the best way I heard this.
He has to think about stuff to see in order to see it.
Yeah. Because the best way I've heard people explain is like he's like Google right now. Like he has the ability to find anything. He just hasn't had the time to do it yet. Where like the other three-eyed raven, he knew everything because he had so much time to figure it out.
Sitting inside a fucking tree.
Yeah, he's like, well, am I gonna rub one out to this maple syrup or look at some history?
Maple syrup it is.
Oh wait, I could see what Rhaegon and Lenia were doing.
Oh
yeah. You guys aren't related. This is okay.
I need to use this maple syrup as lube. That would work. Don't look at me like that.
It'd be a little sticky.
Maple syrup as lube, syrup as lube.
Make sure to wash it off before you get with the ants.
Okay, so Daenerys makes it to Westeros. How do you think she's doing?
Well, she doesn't start out too hot.
No.
You know, she's like, Tyrion's like, hey, we're going to take my old home. And then they show up and it's like, where is everybody? High Garden. Damn it. All right, well, we're going to King's Landing. What happened to the boats? Oh, damn it. Uncle Euron. And she's like, all right, listen here, Tiny. You go sit the fuck down. Mama's going to go take care of this with her baby.
I got this shit.
Well, because, yeah, she took her soldiers. Not the Unsullied, but she took the
she took the Dothraki
and her dragon, and like blew some shit up.
Yeah, she did. She fucked everybody's couch. Okay, so now we need to talk about. There's two other major things here that we need to talk about. Number one, Frozen Lake, Beyond the Wall. When Jon like they're on the frozen lake. Now yes, some people died in that whole excursion, but I was kind of halfway expecting more people to die. I thought Jorah was gone. I thought Jorah was gonna get stabbed in the face.
Well, because he talks to her, like he just gets back to her and she's like, oh my god, my best friend, my BFF. Yeah. He's like, yeah, so I got cured.
I'm all better.
Like, you know, do you want to go out and watch a movie? She's like, hey, meet Jon Snow. It's like, oh, fuck. God, I bet he has a smooth ass. And so
I thought Jorah was gone. I thought Jorah was going to get...
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it set it up for it because she's like, I need some people to go. And he's like, I volunteer as tribute. She's like, you mean fodder?
Okay. So that leads, the Frozen Lake thing leads me to a small problem I had with the season, and I'm sure tons of people have talked about it, is how is time working now?
Yeah, they mentioned that they kind of fudged that, because yeah, like it's like they're there for a day, Gendry runs off, and like he could probably, because they were probably only out there for, 8 hours?
Yeah.
So he could probably huff it back within 6 hours.
He could probably huff it, yeah, like, I guess in terms of the time, it wasn't really so much Gendry getting back, which, I mean, not really an odd tangent, but Gendry's kind of badass.
Oh, I've always been a huge Gendry fan, yeah. Like, finding out that, like, okay, so I have a weird theory.
Fucking people up with the hammer.
So I have a weird theory. I've said it a couple times. I don't know if I've talked to you about it. And since we're on the Gendry tangent, so I didn't realize that Cersei and Robert Baratheon actually had a kid together. It's like in the first season, she talks about, like, I had a kid, he was black of hair, and we lost him. I think she says we lost him. I don't think he said he died. Like, he was sick and they lost him. Like, I'm wondering if Gendry, like, the kid didn't actually die. Like, somebody took him from her, said that he was dead, and treated him like a bastard. Because I don't remember him talking about his mom.
Yeah.
So, like, how awesome would it be if you had Gendry, who is not technically a bastard, who would have some say to the throne, because he's Robert's real kid, and then you have Jon Snow, who's not a bastard, and you get the battle of the former bastards.
Battle of the ex-bastards.
I bet that's not even remotely possible, but I thought that was kind of an interesting little tangent, or interesting little theory.
Okay, so Gendry makes it back to the wall. Okay. Now the problem I have when we're talking about time is the time. So they're at Eastmarch. The time it takes from a Raven to get from Eastmarch to Dragonstone, and then for Daenerys fly her dragons from Dragonstone to the lake.
Yeah, you're looking at least what 3 or 4 days.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at least a day. At the very least a day, because it took them, a few days, and they went by boat.
Yeah.
And plus, say another day on foot. But yeah, what the fuck? That was...
Yeah, I think they kind of fudged it. And I think the directors and stuff mentioned that. I think the reason was just because probably a little bit short on time. There was only 7 episodes. And probably just to kind of, get that. And that's the thing I liked about this season is like, people were complaining that like Jon Snow getting to Dragonstone from Winterfell, like he says in episode 3 or 4 or whatever it was, that I'm going to Dragonstone. He's there at the beginning of the next one. Like I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
I don't need
you're
to
not
see
exactly sure how much time has passed between A and B.
Like, I don't need to sit there and see him on a boat for 3 episodes to know he's going somewhere.
Exactly. I'm totally fine with that. And that's why that, okay, like what you mentioned there, that's why that didn't bother me. But then you're talking about a Raven flying from Eastmarch to Dragonstone and her flying dragons from Dragonstone to where they were. So, I mean, I get that a dragon's faster than a boat, but I don't know if they're, 3 times faster.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be like jet speed. Like, that's probably faster than boat and definitely by more than foot. But yeah, it's not going to get them there super quick.
Okay, so Battle on the Frozen Lake, I thought was cool. I was super cool and super into that.
That was your D&D battle.
Again, second to last episode. And, okay, so what I've said from the beginning of Game of Thrones is before this show's over, I better see dragons fighting dead people.
Yeah.
I've said that from day one. I was like, I need dragons fighting dead people. That needs to happen by the end, or I'm going to write the show off and hate it forever.
When I saw it happen, I wanted to call you and tell you, but I knew you weren't watching at that moment.
Yeah.
Because as that was happening, I'm like, this is what Richard's been masturbating over for weeks.
Years. That's what I said. And I'm sitting there on my couch and I'm like, it's going to happen. I was like, it's actually going to happen. And then it happens. And I was like, oh, I didn't even have to touch myself.
It's so beautiful.
Dragons going, whoa, and breathing fire all over dead people. I was like, whoa.
Richard, I saw you during the battle on the frozen lake. You looked beautiful that day.
Yes. So you finally had dragons fighting dead people. And not only did you have dragons fighting dead people, you had dead people that killed a dragon, Shawn.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. So I've known that
as soon as I saw the one grabbing a spear,
yeah, that's when
I was like, that's when I was like, oh nope. I was like, so that I expected. I expected that they were gonna have some weird way of taking a dragon down. Okay, I'm like, all right. So she's got 2. That's fine. No, Shawn. They didn't end it there. They didn't end it there with that. That's not what caused my mouth to drop open. It cuts to dead people pulling on chains. And as soon as I see dead people pulling on chains, my mouth drops and I'm like, holy shit. And Amanda's like, what? What is it? I was like, do you know what they're doing? She's like, no. I was like, they're pulling that dragon out of the fucking lake. And she's like, why would they? Oh, there's a White Walker dragon.
There is. And he is riding that shit.
Yeah, he was. Okay, so that leads me to the second thing that I feel like we have to talk about. And it's for no other reason than this. Okay? Shawn, when I was in 3rd grade, I had, and I don't know if you're too old or too young for these, but I had a trapper keeper. You know what a trapper keeper is?
Yeah, it's the thing you keep traps in.
No, a Trapper Keeper. It was a little folder, had a little Velcro on it.
Oh.
You went and you opened it up, and it had folders in it, and you could put notebook paper in. Basically,
That was my second guess.
Basically, it was like a binder with a little Velcro flap on it. It always had these really cool designs and shit like that on there, right? Okay, so one of the coolest Trapper Keepers I had, because I had a lot, and I was like really like super, like I want a Trapper Keeper. Like for some reason, I felt like when it came to school supply shopping, I felt like it was one thing that I could own that was mine, and kind of I could have my personality on it. Kids, they always draw designs on their notebooks and on the covers of their notebooks and stuff like that, or they write their name in lightning bolts or whatever. So I was like,
heart Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah,
some kids did that.
Yeah, most of mine went I heart not Richard, and then I cried. Anyway, on to a happy memory. Happy memory. So okay. So when I was in 3rd grade, I had a Trapper Keeper, and it was one of the coolest Trapper Keepers I ever owned. And what was on this Trapper Keeper, Shawn, was there was a dragon, and it was all white. It was a white, almost looked like it was made out of ice, right? And it's breathing what looks like ice on an ice wall. Now, I don't know if it was creating the ice wall or if it was just, attacking the ice wall. Shawn, in the season finale, in the last 3 minutes of this season that we are coming to a close on, there was a dragon that was all white that was breathing ice, what I'm guessing is ice, on the wall and causing it to tumble down. And the first thought I had as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this looks just like my Trapper Keeper.
I still think you need to go find that. See if your mom or your dad still have it. Bust it out.
I doubt it.
Take it to the next podcast conference we go to.
Mom always wrote designs I heart not Richard on her checkbooks. So I'm pretty sure she didn't keep it.
It's like that's really spiteful, Mom. Like you didn't have to really do that.
She's like, well, it's true. Now get out of here.
You're 37 years old.
Stay out of my house.
So I guess kind of the end on the Game of Thrones. I mean, we kind of talked about it up front, but Jon and Daenerys getting together. So my reaction to this. So Sam is coming into Bran's room. They're introducing each other. It's like they're reconnecting, and he's going on this whole idea of like, Jon's on his way here. He's like, oh, okay. But we got to tell him what? And you're like, as a viewer, like they're cutting back and forth between this and Jon Snow walking up and knocking on Daenerys' door. So you're like, oh yeah, Jon's going to get him some action. Woo, get that dragon ass, Jon. Woo!
Yeah,
They cut back to Sam's like, tell him what? Like, I don't care about this stupid side story. Tell me, go back to the sexy time. Like, we have to tell him that he's not actually a Stark. He's not a well, no, they don't say he's a bastard yet. They say, you got to tell him he's not a Stark. Like, oh, that's crazy. I don't care. Back to sexy time. Woo! Then they cut back. And he's like, he's actually...
his last name's Sand.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't fucking know what that means. Go back to the sexy time. And then they cut back to the thing, and Sam's like, oh, no. There's an annulment. He's not a Sand. He's a Targaryen. And that's when they cut back to Jon just going to Pound Town. You're like, yeah, Jon's a Targaryen. And he's having sex with Daenerys.
Who's also Targaryen.
Oh, grody. Now I'm confused by this boner.
How do I feel about this? Porn didn't prepare me for this.
But I mean, at least I knew that going into it. So I knew like he was about to pound his aunt. So I was no, but like if you didn't know that and that was your like, yeah, like I feel like there'd be a lot of like weird feelings watching that.
Quite a few.
Unfold. I think I just slept with my aunt.
Oh no, I committed incest with my aunt.
Please don't get pregnant. Please don't get pregnant.
Our kids will have lots of web toes.
And dragon tongues and dragon tongues. But I mean, I feel like this was a really good season. I was a little disappointed at the end. For some reason, I had it in my mind that this season was going to wrap up either the Cersei storyline or the Night King storyline.
Yeah,
And then
I
next
did too.
year's
That was something that really surprised me, is the fact that they're saving basically the resolutions for every single story arc for 6 episodes at the end.
Yeah, they're gonna be. People have been telling me they're gonna be like 2 hours apiece, so they're gonna be long episodes.
So it'd be like Sherlock.
Yeah, kind of.
Sherlock's kind of the same way. Like Sherlock, they only do 3 episodes a season, but each episode is basically a movie.
Yeah, that's what these are pretty much going to be. But yeah, I mean, there's so many stories. I mean, you got the whole Jon and Daenerys, you've got the Greyjoys, you've got the Night King, you got Cersei, you've got Mountain and the Hound, you've got Arya to an extent. Like, I don't know what her storyline's going to be now. I mean, she's back home, but the faceless thing's still got to come back on her, right?
Well, not just that, she's got people to kill. She's still got a list.
She doesn't have that many people left, though, I thought most of them were dead.
The Hound's on her list. Cersei's on her list.
Yeah, but she took the Hound off.
Did she?
Yeah, she said she did.
Oh, okay.
So Cersei's on there for sure, but I think everybody else is dead, or she killed them.
So, yeah, I'm not sure who's left. I know Cersei, but I'm almost positive there's other people on that list. So,
and what I really like, too, right now is, like, next season, don't have a clue what's going to happen. Literally, the Night King could end up on the Iron Throne. Sam, Cersei, Jon, Daenerys.
I'm pushing for Sam.
That'd be awesome.
Like, he's just stepping over bodies.
Gilly's like, "Oh, Sam, I knew you'd make it." He's like, "No, my name's not Sam. It's George R.R. Martin." It's just
him. Credits.
He just winks at the camera, then credits.
What's this? Book 7? And sets it on fire.
Fuck you, nerds.
Then credits.
Oh, George R.R. Martin, the ultimate tool.
Oh, what's this? The only copy of Book 7? And then sets it on fire and drops it. And then it's like...
Yeah, it's George R.R. Martin's long con. He's like, listen, I'm going to make these books starting in 1992, get a TV series in the late 2000s, and then be like, fuck you, nerds. You sickos watching Sister and Brothers and aunts and nephews making it.
What's the matter with you?
Call me out on this shit.
Look at what you've deemed acceptable. Now it's all over porn. You've ruined Pornhub with all your sick bullshit.
You sickies. You know, I got a book for you guys to read. It's called the Bible. So, what else do you have to talk about there? I feel like Game of Thrones, I don't have anything else really to add on Game of Thrones.
Honestly, there's some other shows. I guess like honorable mentions for television. I'll do quick hits. I'll give you my review of two different shows in 60 seconds. Ready? Here we go. Starting off with The Defenders. So I was super psyched for The Defenders. I really, really wanted to like this show. And I did like this show because the first 4 episodes I felt it was trying to make a very believable storyline, because I think that's what these Marvel Netflix shows are all grounded on, is a sense of realism, and that these guys aren't superheroes. They don't have superpowers. Okay, so you get to The Defenders, and it starts off, decent, and it gets to the point where they're all together and having a fight and everything's going cool, and then I feel like it kind of dips. And the problem that I'm having, that I really had with Iron Fist and that I have with this show, is that there's too much middle. Like, you did 8 episodes of a show that you probably could have done in 6 easily and still had a compelling story. I feel like they're trying to extend it, and I'm not exactly sure why. So that's The Defenders. All right, now let's move on to Rick and Morty. Shawn, I recently discovered Rick and Morty probably like 3 weeks ago. Watched an episode, watched the premiere of season 3. Watched the very first episode. And based on that, I went back and binged the first 2 seasons. Not only that, binged the first 2 seasons, then got myself caught up on this recent season. So as of right now, I think Episode 7 is supposed to be the next one on.
That's Adult Swim, right?
Yeah, that's on Adult Swim. It's on Cartoon Network. I love this show, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who, and to me, this cartoon has kind of gotten to maybe not so much in the first couple seasons. Like, there's definitely a Doc Brown and
oh yeah
and Marty vibe, which is kind of, I mean, it's plainly obvious that's where the show is kind of pulling from at first. But I would say that now it's kind of evolved to the point where, like I said, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and this cartoon is basically telling me, hey, what if Doctor Who was just like a drunk asshole?
Is a drunk uncle.
Yeah, what if Doctor Who was just, a drunk a-hole that just, traveled between dimensions and, fucked shit up because he could, and, he's out for himself. That's what the show is. And I am in love with this show. This show has become my new obsession. And I know I've sent you clips of it, and I'm like, oh my God, you have to watch this. I was like, watch this and watch. I think there was one time I sent you like 3 videos back to back. I was like, okay, this one, this one, this one. I was like, just watch them in succession and tell me you don't want to watch more of this.
Yeah, I watched a clip of the pit where he turns himself into a pickle, and he ends up fighting all the rats and stuff in the sewer.
Pickle Rick!
So I had to end up watching that whole episode. It's really, really funny. It's like right in our ballpark for humor.
Oh my God, it's so good. So yeah, so those are the 2 shows I would definitely recommend if we're talking if we're coming to the close on the summer of television.
All right, well, do you want to throw out any Richard's closing thoughts on either Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty, or The Defenders?
We live in how do you wrap up this summer in television? Stop making brother and sister porn, because, not all of us are into it. And sometimes too much can be a bad thing in terms of The Defenders. You kind of get overdosed on it. Although I feel like there is a happy medium, because, The Defenders, I felt like I got too much, and it was too filling. And then you get to Game of Thrones, and it's not enough, and I need more. I need an episode next week.
Yeah.
But it's not coming.
No.
I'm not going to get it. So now I have to, find other things to occupy my time. I mean, there's like, 4 other people in the house, I think. I don't know. I've been busy. I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Well, I can get you the books if you want to read those. You might be able to get them done.
Damn it. No.
Before the next season.
No. Now I refuse to read them on principle.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping before you go into a rage over Lady Stoneheart.
Lady Stoneheart.
Visit our website. We're at languageofbros.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbros.com. Check out the LB Army intelligence reports. Like us on Facebook. Go out and recruit somebody for the LB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher.
And when you are on iTunes, make sure to rate us and leave a review, because those reviews, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reviews are so very, very helpful. Not only for the show, but they also help build our self-esteem, which we have none.
Because Richard and I have built walls around ourselves, and we need you to be the Night King and blow those walls down.
Just like my Trapper Keeper.
And always, you can check us out on the Pod Bros Network.
The Night's Watch of podcast networks.
Yeah, it is. And if you want to throw a little bit of money in our tip jar, go to our Patreon accounts, www.patreon.com/languageofbromance. Richard and I are going to try and put some funds together to help rebuild that wall.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Build another goddamn wall. Yeah.
All right, is there anything before I close her out?
No. I'm finished.
Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver. He's a Targaryen and she's a Targaryen.
But that means that, no, they're making whoopee. But but it doesn't make me want to say whoopee.